How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This time we're out and about working and we're in an awesome location. I love coming out to work here because the view is amazing. There's cool stuff lying about everywhere. There's some buses, there's some boats. That's the type of boat I would actually want if we were going to get a boat. I keep saying we're going to get a boat and one day we'll get a boat, a wee bit like that. But we're out here to do some work on the ambulances. I don't know if you guys know already, but we do a lot of work for AALS Medical. They specialise in patient repatriation. So these ambulances go all over Europe. They go to Spain, Turkey, Greece, everywhere. Last week this one was up in the Shetland Islands, this one went to Spain. So we have to be on top of the maintenance all the time. This one's came up with a load of engine management faults. It's actually lit up like a Christmas tree and it's developed a little bit of a diesel leak. So it's going to give us a chance to use a new tool that we've been sent. So we've been sent this Otofix to try out, and this is from the makers of Autel. If you guys are in the trade or you know anything about cars or you do diagnostic work or whatever, Autel's a very well known name. And this is like their sort of budget range. And it's in a blow molded case, exactly like an Autel. The adapter that plugs into your OBD port looks exactly like an Autel. And even the device itself looks exactly like an Autel, albeit orange instead of red. I think, from the research I've done, it's basically a slightly watered down version of the Autel, so there's some functions that it won't do. But it's got all the main functions that a mobile mechanic, somebody at home, all of that stuff. It's got everything you would need. I think the only thing this can do is sort of like recalibrate ECUs and things like that. But we'll get into it, we'll have a play, we'll see what it can do, we'll go through some of the features and see how good it is. But we'll plug it into this and see how many fault codes we've got. Right guys, sorry about that, I had to register the device because it's brand new. But what I noticed on registering is they had to send me an email verification. And the email comes through as verify your Autel account. So it is an Autel, it really is an Autel, and when you look at it, the VCI is already detected that it's a Renault Master van, it's got a chassis number. But looking at the background, it's exactly the same as the Autel. Like we used to use the Autel at the garage years ago. James next door at Oracle's got the Autel, and it's exactly the same as this. If these are that good, why would you buy an Autel? Because these are like pennies compared to the Autel, aren't they, Charlie? Let's get into it. Let's have a look at what the fault codes are and see what it does. There we go. The Otofix is finished scanning the systems, and we've got a few faults here. We've got injection faults, ABS, UPC, radio, air conditioning, airbag, the faults there. That's all good. A lot of these could be stored faults, so we'll go into them individually. I know the injection one's live because it's got the warning on the dash. But yeah, so far this is exactly the same as the Autel. Same way of working, same system check, same auto scan, same everything. Right guys, the current fault code's actually a boost pressure fault. So what we're going to do is read some live data, take it for a wee road test. I've just had a quick visual look to see if there's any sort of boost leaks. I can't see or hear anything. So we're going to check the live data, take it a wee run. That will also give us a chance to check the refresh rate of the graphs and see if they're quick enough to refresh for reading live data, and see how it goes. Right, so far so good. The refresh rate seems to be quick enough, so we're getting good feedback on the live data. Let's take it out for a wee run. You can hold that, Charlie. And we'll see if it loses boost pressure anywhere. We'll see if there's any spikes. We'll see if there's any dips. And take it from there. So that's us back for the road test. And the vehicle performed exactly as I expected it to. We even took on some hills. We got it in like 5th gear, put it under loads of load that would require loads of boost pressure. Reading the live data, there was no peaks, there was no drops, everything seemed fine. The good thing about the Otofix, I nearly called it an Autel there because it's so similar, is you can click review and then it will play back the last 10 minutes and you can sit and go through it and read it bit by bit. As you can see here, you can scroll right back to the start of the test, You can carry on through the road test. You can see where we've peaked, troughed. There's loads of different bits. You can press play, physically watch the live data. You can see where I've been changing gear, putting it under load, off the accelerator there, back on. You can watch the whole thing back for the last 10 minutes, which is ideal. It's perfect for what we're doing. So what we'll do now, obviously it doesn't feel like there's a fault. I can't visually see or hear any boost leaks. All the sensors seem okay. What we're going to do is go back, clear the codes, and then take it another drive and see if it comes back. So there we go, all the codes have cleared, so there isn't actually an active fault at the moment. It looks like it may have just been one of these things that cars do now and again. Every now and again they'll sometimes just have a wee glitch, especially at this sort of mileage. I think this has got something like 250,000 miles on it. So hopefully it's just a wee glitch. Faults have cleared. We're going to go for another road test, maybe a wee bit longer this time, and just make sure nothing comes back. And hopefully we'll get a clean bill of health. The only thing so far, the only codes that won't clear are the radio codes, and that's only because the back speakers are doing as open circuit because they've been unplugged, obviously, for the ambulance conversion. So that's the only two faults on the car at the moment. Everything else is fine. Let's go for another drive and make sure nothing comes back. Right guys, everything seems to be alright with the boost fault on this. There's no leaks, there's no nothing. What I suspect is it's maybe one of the sort of VVT vanes in the turbo is stuck and it's had a wee bit of a boost leak wobble or a boost pressure wobble. There's certainly nothing coming back, and there's nothing on the live data to say there's any faults with the car. The van, sorry. So unfortunately, if you can't see anything, you can't hear anything, there's no faults happening, you can't really diagnose anything. So all we can do is let it go out, let it do its job, and see if anything comes back. As for the fuel leak, we came out to look at a fuel leak on this. We cleaned off the filter, and that's no so good news. This is all soaking again, so it's saturated in diesel again. So it looks like we're going to have to whip the filter off of this. It looks like the main seal in the housing here, so we'll get that taken apart, we'll get a new filter for it, new seal kit, that will fix that. And the other ambulance, this is now suddenly coming up with a brake warning fault, so it's saying that back brake wear sensors are low, so we're going to whip the back wheels off, have a visual check of them, and see what we need for this one. Right guys, I'm going to make this quick, but don't go anywhere, because we will be back, but the battery's about to die in the camera. We ended up doing discs and pads on this. Somebody had fitted new pads before, broke the wear sensor wiring, but when I looked at the state of the discs, they were horrendous. They were cracking, they're scored, they're pitted. Somebody put new pads on top of them, so we ended up doing discs and pads on this ambulance. I'm just about to do the fuel filter on this one, and that should be us done here. But don't go anywhere, because we're going back and we'll carry the video on with another wee job. Right guys, we're back at the unit and we're going to finish off this little Mazda MX-5. This is in for backing plates. As you can see, these are pretty common for rotting out on these, because they're just kind of cheap tin for factory. So these rot out quite a lot. This one, we had it in and done a full Lanarkshire and everything on it. The backing plates were so rotten they ended up in a pile on the floor, and the owners decided that he wants the backing plates reinstated. So these are fairly cheap for Mazda. You get them direct from Mazda for about £40 a piece. The biggest problem with these is they push on. So let me show you. Here's the other new one. As you can see, a lot of backing plates have got a split here and they bolt on. This one here is just like a push fit straight onto the aluminium hub. So that means in order to do these, you have to remove the hub, which in turn splits the wheel bearing, which renders it useless. So you have to do the wheel bearings as well, so it's quite an intensive job. So as you can see, I've already done this one. This one's ready to be bolted back onto the car. It's time to swap this one round, and then we can leave Charlie to bolt this up while Anna putting her quick errand. So let's crack on with this. Right guys, here we go. First step of this is to get the wheel hub out. Hardest bit of this is getting it to sit on the press neatly without falling over. Once you've got that out, you pop the snap ring out, and then you're back on the press again, just to try and get the wheel bearing itself out. Again, make sure it's as stable as you can. This is the hardest bit of the job, is trying to make sure it doesn't fall over. Once you've got it all out, it's time to clean it up. Obviously we need to chip off as much of the old crust as we can so the backing plate sits on, and then we can press the new bearing in. Again, the hardest bit is making sure that this sits perfectly flat and the bearing goes in nice and straight. Once the bearing's in, we'll put the snap ring back on. Once your snap ring's in, push your backing plate on. Again, it's friction fit, so just chap it on. This is the old bit of bearing we have to cut off. Best to do that with a grinder. Once you get that off, back onto the press. Again, keep it nice and straight, keep it level, put a socket or something on the back of the bearing so you don't push the back of the bearing out when you're pressing this in. And there you go. It's as easy as that to swap the bearing over.
Right, so Dad just left me on my own. I'm with the MX-5 and here's a little bit of a progress update. I've managed to get the hub sitting on the drive shaft. I've got this arm here sitting in place. I've got this one sitting in place. This one will go in place once I jack the shock up and get that slid onto the hub. This one underneath is almost lined up, and the one back there is sitting in snug. I just need to put the bolt through it, and then we can start. And then I'm going to do a wee bit of Lanarkshire, because we did that a couple of weeks ago. We're going to do his new plates, we're going to do the bits of the hub that I missed, so that everything's protected. And then I've cleaned up all the hardware, it's got WD-40 coated on it, it's all been cleaned up. And then we can move on to the other side. But yeah, it's a pretty lengthy process, so I'm just going to get cracking on. We've got like 2 hours because we're super busy today. So hopefully I can get it all done, I can get it Lanarkshire, I can get it bolted up and get it back on its wheels. And then I need to get it outside and I need to actually get it a wash. So quite busy for 2 hours, but I'm sure we can get it done. Right, there we go. After a very long struggle, I've got this side all put back together. Now I think I've learned a couple of new things that I did on this side that I can do on that side to make it a slightly bit of an easier process and get it done a bit quicker, but we'll get in there. Soon I'm going to get that side done, we'll get the wheels back on, and then we can get it outside and I can start washing it.
Right, there we go, the MX-5's back together. We have got a monumental mess to clean up and tidy up. So, I don't know if Charlie mentioned it, but we re-Lanarkshire the back end while we were there. We've already gave it a wash, we've gave it a wee quick hoover, wee quick clean, bit of Infinity Wax Success air freshener, some tyre candy, wee bit of quick detailer, all the stuff to make it look good. So yeah, little car's looking good now. It's back on the road again, backing plates are all done, springs are all done, and it's time to go crack on with the next video. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Massive thanks to Infinity Wax for jumping on board and supporting the channel. And if you guys want to get involved and buy some Infinity Wax products, use our link and you'll get 10% off at checkout as well. So yeah, great deal on Infinity Wax. That's it for this video. We'll see you on Sunday.